Saturn just stationed retrograde. It will be retrograding until December of this year, December 10th to be exact. And I wanted to break down Saturn, what Saturn is all about, what is Aries all about, and together what Saturn and Aries really come in to teach us. Now, if you have Saturn and Aries in your chart, if you're like in the 27 to like 30 years old, or if you're in like those late 50s, early 60s, potentially it's your Saturn return. If you're, of course, younger, it's your first Saturn return. And if you're in those, you're maturing, it's your second Saturn return. And Saturn returns, pop culture astrology wise, tend to be really difficult, right? It's really difficult for people if you don't know what's going on. It's kind of like a midlife crisis. So let's talk about Saturn here. Let's talk about what Saturn is all about, and then we'll bring in the retrograde and the Aries components in just a little bit here. So first, understanding Saturn. What does Saturn mean? What does Saturn look like? So here is the wheel of life, right? All of these symbols could be really tough for people when they're like, what does it all mean? But the symbol we're looking for here is this guy right here, this little cross and this little pivot down into the earth. And in that, we start seeing that Capricorn, that Capricornian archetype of climbing, using the earth materials, right, to kind of transcend to God, source, creator, universe in some way. Now, Saturn, I have it tattooed on my arm for a reason, is the planet of structure. It's the planet that binds and holds things together. Saturn has two faces, two rulers. There's the Capricorn face of Saturn, and classically, there's the Aquarius face of Saturn. Aquarius is at home in Saturn as well, traditionally. It wasn't until we discovered Uranus that the more modern astrological lens started associating Uranus and Aquarius as being home in with each other, all right? But traditionally, Saturn and Aquarius went hand in hand. So what does this mean? So there's the very earthly expression of Saturn, the actual foundation, right? That the foundations that bind us, right? And there's the Aquarius expression of Saturn, which is looking at the words, the language around the rules that bind us. That's why when we think of Aquarius, we're thinking of social conformity. You look at Saturn's rings and you look at it closely, and it's a bunch of rocks, right? A bunch of rocks around this planet, around this solid structure. And one could imagine metaphorically that once upon a time, let's say these rings were regimented, were rooted, it was solid. But when you keep something in a box for too long, what tends to happen here is boom, we break free. We have to break free. We have to question. We're breaking free. So boom, the rocks are broken. And in that, we start to see the Aquarian signature of Saturn, which is yes, we need that middle. We need the meat. We need the structure. But we also need the freedom and the space to be an individual within these structures as well. Now, one side of Saturn understands that there's time and discipline. Like, yes, we need that to Aquarius eventually feel free within the structures, right? We need rules, right? We need rules. We need expectations. We need agreements. Capricorn can lay down the law and the rules of those expectations quite harshly. And Aquarius stands back and it challenges those rules as well, right? Now, that's why Saturn is often associated as being very paternal in its expression. It is Chronos mythologically, right? So Father Time, and this sort of energy of like, we only have this time. What are we going to do with this time? And how we move with this time really matters, right? That's why Saturn is sometimes known as a malefic planet, because it forces us to look at our karma, at our weight, at the rules, at social conformity, at all these things that bind us, some of us walking with them as a ball and chain. My partner and I, we have this conversation all the time of the distinguishing of burdens and blessings. That sometimes our blessings are a burden. Yeah, sometimes our blessings are a burden. Sometimes it's home, right? We got to feed it. We have to sustain it. And sometimes the sustaining of this home, which gives us so much life and abundance and so many beautiful things, is a burden. It's something we got to be responsible for. No matter how glamorous it is or unglamorous it is, there are pockets where it feels glamorous to take care of. There are pockets where it doesn't. And if I were to just go for the glamour, the things that just feel good, right? Then something else will fall apart. Understanding here with Saturn, it's that lesson that sometimes the work is not glamorous. But if you want something and you do something consistently, eventually it will become a fruitful foundation for things to grow on, for us to build upon. That's why Saturn is a struggle for some people, because we don't want to do the work. We just want the work to be easy. Wouldn't it be beautiful if the work was just easy? Wouldn't it be wonderful if the work was just easy? Sure. But I would say the feeling, the process of earning something is what Saturn is really focused on. To earn the foundation from which we stand upon. That is interesting. That is delicious. That is, if it's just given to you, if it's just handed to you, trust and believe we will find a reason to complain about how easy it is eventually. And that's what Saturn motivates us to look at. Now, depending on what sign it's in, like that'll tell us what the work is all about. The sign is the nature of the work, the great work. In Pisces, which Saturn was just in, it was the great work of our spirituality. It was the great work of who we are as spiritual beings. Many of us embarked on meditation practices, explored lucid dreaming, explored the ritual of spirit, whether it was through the tarot, journaling, the artist's way, ... You fill in the blanks. The structure of our spiritual life. And how quickly, boom, it fades away the minute there's uncertainty and chaos, right? We spend all this time exploring meditation and elevating our vibration. It's a very Saturn and Pisces placement, right? And now is the time for us to do something with it. Aries, Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, Aries being the first sign of the zodiac. So we're looking at action. We're looking at impulse. We're looking at desire. Where Aries here, if it wasn't influenced by Saturn, Aries would be like, I want to do this, 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 I want to do this. I have this desire. I want to do something here. I want to do something there. And we'll start 4 different projects around this desire. And Saturn goes, okay, a desire is not enough. You gotta do something with it, and you gotta do it consistently. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's fire, it's will, it's desire. It's the raw materials of creativity itself. And Aries goes here and here and here and here and here and here and here. Cardinal fire, right? So it initiates. It initiates a desire here, initiates a desire here, initiates a desire here. And we start all these fires all over, but nothing is ever concrete. Nothing is ever, focused. And that's why we have Saturn and Aries here, because it is the structure and the discipline of our desires, of one desire. How many of us are wannabes, right? I want to be this, I want to be this, I want to be this, I want to be this. And Saturn's like, okay, well, do it. But I want it to come easy. I just want it to be easy. I want to be this. I want to do what you do, Danny. Okay, show up every day. Share your truth. Express. This whole platform, years, I would say a decade's worth in the making before it became anything bountiful or fruitful, before it became a platform, a foundation where I get to stand upon and like, great, I feel good in here. The resources that are coming through feel good. They feel aligned. I feel good in this work. I feel integrous with this work. This work feels good. But there's some days I get up and I don't want to do it. What is that? Why is that? Is that voice really mine? And I can attach all these ideas around the work, right? Of like, oh, well, it's patriarchy. It's capitalism. Very Capricornian words, right? But how much of that is an excuse that is getting in the way of me doing the things that would sabotage me if I didn't do it? And that is what we're looking at with Saturn and Aries, is how we sabotage ourself. Aries, I, me, how we sabotage the self. You got to get over yourself. Saturn presents a mountain. The mountain is that of self. You got to get over yourself. We're redefining self. With retrograde, here it goes. Retrograde is not Saturn sitting back and just going, okay, whatever, you deal with it. When any planet retrogrades, it's a concentration, an amplification of that energy. And Saturn here is standing across the table from you and going, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Are you going to really do it? Are you going to really do it? Are you really going to do it? Or are you just going to do this? Oh, but I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm so scared. What if nobody likes me? What if you don't do it? Is it worse to not do the thing you've been circling around endless? Or is it worse to just not do it at all? You want to be alive? That's Aries. You want to be alive? You want to feel alive? Then you got to do the thing, but I'm so scared. Who cares? Confidence doesn't just happen. Courage doesn't just find you. Guess what? Courage is found in the doing. Courage is found in the action. Bravery is found in action. It's never found in just like waking up and going, I feel ready today. No, bravery is sculpted with every fear, with every impulse we have, and we act in relationship with it. Bravery is found. It doesn't just happen. None of this just happened. Me being here confident, speaking about this, didn't just happen. I had to fall on my face. I had to face myself, my fears, my imposter syndrome, the honesty of looking back at the material and the shit that I'm preaching and going, there's a crack there. There's an opening here. There's a gap there. And not to go, oh, well, you're stupid and you don't sound good and people will never validate you or see you or whatnot. No, to really look at myself and to look at, okay, cool, this point is really working and this point is really working you. Why is that? How can we make it better? And that's the thing about Saturn. It is a planet of making things better through sculpting, through showing up, doing those reps again and again and again, and trust and believe you will find a better self on the other side of these obstacles that we place, like fear, like anxiety, the uncertainty of it all. Uncertainty doesn't go away. It is uncertainty that pulls the pioneer forward to see what's at the edge of that horizon. You think the person that hopped on the first ship to find out if the earth was really flat was just woke up and said, I'm ready to cross that horizon? No, they were fucking terrified. But they needed to know for themselves. They got tired of other people's points of view influencing them. And in a very Aries way, they said, I need to find out for me. I need to know. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's the beauty of Aries. Like when they are wrong, sure, whatever, it's wrong. It might be hard for us to say so because we're mad at ourselves for being so wrong, more than likely. I'm an Aries sun. Trust it and believe it. Trust it from an Aries. But ultimately, you got to find out for yourself. You got to find out for you. You got to find out for you what you're really made of. And with Saturn here, we are proving to ourselves what we're really made of outside of what the world or the culture or the governments or your family or your peoples or your friends or whatever are telling you about who you are. Only you know who you are. Only you know what you're capable of. And it's time to prove it. And that's what this retrograde moment is all about. And let me tell you, the people who struggle with Saturn returns and Saturn retrogrades, or Saturn in general, are the people who resist. Resist acting with what they know they gotta do. You resist, you will feel exhausted, you will feel victimized, you will feel like the world is out to get you. But the universe isn't doing anything to you but showing you where you are in relationship to today and the person you got to be, you have to be. That is what we're looking at here. I have a need to become someone. This world needs you to become someone, to be an actfully beautiful agent of change who has autonomy and agency in this world. Because that's the thing with Aries. It's about agency. It's about me. It's like, no, fuck no. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to let you tell me who to be. No, I have agency. I am an individual in this world. Me. And I'm not going to let a system or a family or whatever opinion tell me who I am until I've decided it for myself. And with Saturn, again, and again, it's not enough to just want to be or wanna be. You got to be the bee. And your doings every single day show you exactly where you are in relationship to the version of self you've always desired to become. But you got to start from the bottom. You got to start from the beginning. And that's Aries. It's the bottom. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the beginning. And nothing about beginnings are comfortable. Nothing about beginnings are comfortable. Nothing. We come into this world and it's a scary place. There's a reason why we cry when we exit the womb. We're crying. We're vulnerable. We're naked. We're cold. We're scared. What the fuck is happening here? I was just cozy in some womb. I had all the food, all the nutrients, all the warmth I needed. And now I'm out here in this scary ass bright world. Ah! It's no wonder why we scream as babies. And in that first scream, we scream the most Aries thing there is, which is I have desire. I need. I want. I want food. I want warmth. I want agency. And if you didn't cry when you came out, well, even more of a reason to explore why is that? Why didn't you cry when you came out? What part of you feels like you can't cry out loud? Where's that coming from? Liberate that voice. Liberate your truth. Because the babies who didn't cry when they came out, even more of a reason to cry out loud right now. Even more of a reason to scream. That Aquarius trope, man. To carry such vision and to hold it to yourself. Whew, how rude. How rude. So Saturn retrograde. Hopefully that makes a lot more sense to you now. Think about it. Look at where Saturn is hitting your chart, because that'll tell you the arena, the set design, the environment through which Saturn is playing out its scene in Aries. Think about that. Think about that. And we have from now until December, it's going to be amplified. Selfhood. And think about selfhood in relationship to the we-hood, the us-hood, right? Because that is why we're doing this work, to know who the I is in the collective. Collective is not all us holding hands, kumbaya, I just want to be the same as you. Let's wear the same color clothes and drink the same Kool-Aid. No. Collective is, can I be an individual in this world who is sovereign? And in my sovereignty, I can sit across the room for someone in their sovereignty. And I don't have to force them to be anything other than they're not, until I have to lay down that sword and be like, actually, you're acting a fucking fool right now. You are a poison and a toxic element to this beautiful thing we're trying to create. And why is that? Get your head out of the ass. Justice, right? We need both. But you need to know who you are in that justice conversation, how you sovereignty, how you move, and illuminate that for the world and each other. so that that becomes a positive ripple of change, right? Right? Okay. That's the end of my tangent. I'm bringing in already Aquarius and Leo, which influences this Saturn retrograde a lot. I'm going to have to make another video on that in the future. But you got a lot to chew on with Saturn retrograde. Think about it. Think about it. For my Saturn return babies, you got this. My Saturn return, one of the most transformative eras of my life. Transformative eras of my life.